Welcome back to the 3 Too Many podcast. This is Carrie, and I am with my two besties, Brooke and Erin, back for episode 2, season 2. We have an awesome show for you guys today. Our friend Bucko is on the podcast. We have a great time with her. She's known Erin since middle school. We were friends in high school. She is a hoot and a half. We play the hot seat game with her. You guys are really going to enjoy it. But before we get to that, we're going to go around and just see what's up with everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Tuesday.
What's up?
Doing well. Me and your roommate Polly had such a fun weekend in the Twin Cities. We saw Chelsea Handler last week at the Mystic Lake Casino. So I did some gambling. Polly told me not to, but I was like, I have some cash. So then I did.
Was there a Britney Spears slot machine?
Chelsea Handler was great. Well, the casino was super packed. So I didn't get a chance to see if there was, but I didn't play a Britney Spears machine, but yeah. Right. But yeah, Chelsea Handler was funny. And then the one surprise, her opener was Mary Beth Barone. And she is like Benny Drama. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he's this hilarious comedian. They're kind of each other's sidekicks and they have a podcast together. So that was really fun. I had no idea she was going to be opening. So I saw her in real life, and you guys know how much I love seeing people in real life. I just like freak out. So it was fun. And then just spent the weekend at my brother and his fiance's house, and we played a lot of pool for like 2 hours, and everyone had a great game. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you win any money at the casino?
No, but my brother and I did end up playing pull tabs at the bar, and we did actually win.
Nice.
So that was cool. Yeah. How about you, Erin?
Well, I worked all weekend and made a little bit of money, which was nice. I had Saturday off though, and me and Kelsey were gonna go do something, and I was like, I don't really feel like it. I was like, I just kind of just want to lounge around all day. And I literally probably slept all that, and I slept through the whole thing watching. I don't even know what I had on TV. I think I had Modern Family on. I was playing all their Christmas specials. And then we ordered Chinese food, and we made those little cutout snowflake things pretty much all night. I forgot how it took us a long ass time to figure out how to make those again. I remember it being so easy, and all of mine looked like garbage. So
yeah, you can really fuck those up, honestly.
Arts and crafts.
Yeah.
What you, Carrie? What'd you do?
Well, me and Jack went to Michigan. We took Friday off and drove. We stopped in Duluth, went to Bent Paddle Brewery, of course, and then we ate kind of a later lunch at OMC Smokehouse, which stands for Oink Moo Cluck. So a lot of meat, a lot of smoked meats. Like I had a Nashville hot chicken sandwich, and it was dope. Yeah. So then we just got a little Airbnb cabin in Ramsey, Michigan, which is just kind of on the other side of the Wisconsin border, like right when you get into Michigan. And it's close to another small town called Ironwood, which is like my new favorite small town because they have an affinity for neon lights, which I can appreciate, and like tons of dive bars, a really good brewery, awesome, like small locally owned restaurants. And then on Saturday, this place where we wanted to go hiking ended up being closed. That we didn't look ahead to see if it was open or not. We just assumed, but all the trails, or like all the places to get into the park, was closed. So we ended up continuing to drive to Houghton, Michigan, which was like another 2 hours north into the Upper Peninsula. And then we did find like a big nature preserve area close to Michigan Tech University's campus, and just kind of explored Houghton, Michigan, and just had a nice little weekend, and then drove home in a snowstorm on Sunday because it's winter and it's northern Minnesota.
How much snow do you guys have? Because we have absolutely none down
I
here.
think over the weekend, I think we accumulated like 6 to 8 inches, depending on what part of the state you were in. We left our Airbnb in Ramsey at 9:30 in the morning and stopped in Duluth for like an hour for lunch and still didn't get home until 5 p.m.
Dang.
And it's normally supposed to be like a 5-hour like straight shot drive.
Wow. Do you remember when we drove from Duluth to try to go back to Bemidji when I opened for Logan Mize?
Sure do.
Oh, that was an adventure.
That was wild. And we had to stop in Grand Rapids and stay with your cousin, right?
Yep. It was me, you, Gertrude, and Nicole, right?
I think so. It might have just been the three of us, actually. But true. Yeah. Logan Mize, what is he up to?
He's actually, his new record is amazing. I love it. Welcome to Prairieville. Go look it up. Shout out.
Shout out to Logan Mize. Remember Aaron?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I literally. So I was listening to it and I was like, I'm going to DM him just for shits and gigs. And I sent him a DM and I was like, you probably don't remember me, but I opened for you in Duluth, Minnesota. Great album. Didn't respond.
Oh man.
But I quit playing. Oh, can you hear me now? I was fidgeting with my AirPods.
Oh,
anyway, Logan Mize was not too happy with me when I left his set early because of a snowstorm. Do you remember that? Well. He's like, you're leaving? I'm like, yeah, sorry.
You're like, I have to drive home. There's a snowstorm. Sorry, dude.
Great times.
Yeah.
Good times.
All right. Well, sounds like we all had a fun weekend. And without further ado, let's get into our interview with Kaitlyn Ruprecht, aka Bucko.
3 Too Many fam, we're excited to welcome my good friend, all of our good friends, Kaitlyn Bucko, or formerly known as Bucko, now Ruprecht. Did I say that right?
You're so close, Aaron. You're so close. You're right on the edge of it. Yeah, I know. It's like extremely hard to pronounce. It's Ruprecht. Very German.
Ruprecht.
Wow. I heard that you got married and your last name is no longer Bucko. That's sad.
Oh, my last name is still Bucko. It's still there.
Well, and her invisible. First name is Bucko. Like for a long time, I bet like if I was going to be in the hot seat tonight and Aaron was like, what's Bucko's first name? I probably would have to think about it for like 10 seconds before I actually.
Oh yeah. My first name is just a suggestion, in my opinion, to most people, actually.
It's what you use for corporate lingo.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like corp, it's definitely Kaitlyn. I got to be profesh to death, you know.
That LinkedIn profile's got to show the full name. No nicknames.
You know it, but yeah, no, everybody still calls me Bucko, and I laugh because when I'm with everybody from high school or even college who knows me as Bucko, they'll want to introduce me to somebody new, and they're like, how do I introduce you? Like, is it Kaitlyn? And I'm like, introduce me as to what you still call me, because they're never gonna know who the hell Kaitlyn is. The only person I'll hear say it is my husband, and I will watch your guys' face when you talk with him, my husband, and he'll be like, oh, Kaitlyn's over there, and for a split second you guys are like, who? Oh yeah, that's right, Buck has the first name. So yes, I still get called Bucko. It's still there.
So
yeah, I think when I met you when we were in Nashville together and we saw Aaron, I don't think he even used your first name. And I didn't know your first name until I think yesterday when Carrie's like, are you going to email Bucko or Kaitlyn? And I was like, yeah, that's her. Okay.
I know. I put in, when I had to put in for my Zoom name, I put Kaitlyn Ruprecht, but then in the little parentheses, I put Bucko because I still had to have it right in there. I think I still put it in for Bucko for a lot of things. I still think on Facebook it still has Bucko in the parentheses.
Honestly, that helps because when people get married, especially like deep people from high school that I haven't talked to in 10 years, when they change their name, I'm like, well, who's this random friend? I don't remember adding them. And then I have to dive into their Facebook. I'm like, oh, okay, I know who this is.
That happens.
I know. I wonder how many people on Facebook have seen me and they're like, Kaitlyn Ruprecht, and they're like, okay, who is this dumb bitch? And then they click on my profile and then they're like, oh, it's Bucko. And I'm just like, yeah, unless that's just naturally what they think of me. Maybe they're just like, oh yeah, it's still her.
So I've known Bucko since middle school, since 6th grade, I think, right? Or was it 7th? 7th grade.
Yep, it was 7th. We had homeroom together.
Yeah. What was your first impression of little middle schooler Aaron? And I'll tell you my first impression of you.
So I've always, and I think it's because I have pictures of you, Aaron, that I took from a disposable camera. And your hair was so poofy and it was shaped in this extremely weird way. And I just remember being like, wow, and it's thick. So it was just like, it was about yay tall. But you were so sweet and you were one of the nicest people, especially when we had homeroom because we sat next to each other.
Yep.
And I think you and I hit it off right away. I can't remember who else was sitting by us, honestly.
Probably Nicole Brenny.
I don't know if Nicole was in our homeroom. I know Kelsey was, and Elise.
Yep.
And
I remember thinking that, man, this girl is the epitome of Chicago. Because I remember you were the new girl from Chicago. And I was like, wow, she is loud and she will tell you what she's thinking. And it's hilarious.
Well, that's because I was still like wet coming out of Michigan Lake. And it was just on me thick. Like, seriously, it was like still on me thick. And I remember I walked in and I had on jeans, this black AC/DC shirt. Everybody was wearing Hollister and Abercrombie. And I was like, ooh, this might be rough. It's like, this might be really rough. But, I conformed.
You didn't conform. We conformed to you.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to start telling Dustin that. I'm going to tell him that he needs to conform to me. I love that. But yeah, it was different moving from Chicago, being in a very large city and being in a city, and then moving to Rice, Minnesota, and living on a white-tailed deer farm. I wanted to die. And I'm not saying that lightly. It was horrible. I'm naturally a loud person. The littlest cackle coming out of my mouth, all of a sudden Denny would be like, great, one of the deer broke its neck because you scared it. And I'm over here and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm literally 12 and I want to die. And it was horrible. But, now I live out in Holdingford.
So what did you guys do in homeroom? Like, I don't know what homeroom is.
We didn't have homeroom in Royalton?
No.
Oh.
It was basically like, I feel like in middle school, we started our day there every day, didn't we? And they took attendance and would do, I think we would have to read or something too during it.
Or it was if you had to scramble to get your homework done.
Yeah.
It was just the first hour of the day.
It was just kind of like a little hub for the first part of your day. That's all it was.
Yeah. Honestly, it was great because I feel like we had some, I'm still friends with a lot of people who were in my homeroom class from middle school and in high school, just because you see them every day for 3 or 4 years, Well,
and it was kind of just a free hour. You didn't, it wasn't structured. You were literally just like hanging out in a classroom until it was time to go to the next thing. So it was easy to like fuck around with people.
And I love that we're having this homeroom conversation because I had a very, very, okay, ready for this one, Erin? I had a very, very tipsy conversation with Dan Swan. And we were talking about, well, Carrie, you remember Storm Hall, Thunder Heights, and Great River.
Yep.
And we were yelling back and forth about which hall was better. And I'm like, we are going to be 30 years old and we were in middle school. I was like, it does not matter anymore, but it was so funny because we were just talking about how insane that was, that all of us were broken up into different halls.
Yeah.
And how everybody was so different.
It was like a Hogwarts house. Yeah.
It was definitely
like Harry Potter.
It definitely was. And all that Dan and I could equally keep saying was Thunder Heights, and how Thunder Heights was right, that little tiny hallway. It's just like Thunder Heights is just that little tiny hallway. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, it just was like from like here to here. It's as big as it was.
Storm Hall was Gryffindor for sure. What was the other one? Great River, was that?
Great River.
That was probably Ravenclaw. And then Thunder Heights was probably Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I would say Storm was a mixture of Gryffindor and Slytherin.
Yeah.
Just because
you could break those two up.
I was a shithead, so it was interesting.
Storm Hall is where they put all the shitheads, apparently.
Well, we were both in that.
Yeah, yeah. We've talked about this. We were locker buddies in Storm Hall.
I was not a shithead.
Oh, okay.
Aaron was good. The only time Aaron got in trouble was when he sang that Dirk Bentley song for the competition. And they're like, that is an inappropriate song. How dare you? And Aaron's like, they don't know country. They don't understand. It's a very intense situation.
Bucko was definitely, she could get everybody on board with causing some trouble or mischief in middle school and probably high school too.
Yeah.
I remember you telling a story about driving your mom or Denny's car in middle school.
Runny.
Yeah.
Of course.
Does your mom know about that first? Does your mom know about that?
Yeah, she does. And I told her a few years back, and Nicole and I took the car for a joyride out in Rice, Minnesota. There's nobody on the road. And we get it out onto the main street, and all of a sudden, sure as shit, it starts downpouring. And I'm like, how are we going to get the car back into the into the garage? And the car's completely wet. I'm like, she's going to know that we took it because they were out. So we wiped the car down with towels, put it in the hamper. My mom comes home and she's like, what the fuck did you do? What is with all the towels and wet? And I said, Nicole had left the shower curtain out of the bathroom, and all the water got on the floor. And my mom bought it.
What?
Until like how many? Yeah. So like the shower curtain, you leave it out of the shower, all that water drips down on the floor. And I told her we just grabbed towels, we just soaked it all up off of the floor, and that's why they were all wet. And she had no idea up until I would say about 5 years ago.
That is some creative excuse on your part. Good job.
You say creative excuse, and I say psychopath lying. I mean, that's what my mom would probably say.
Gosh.
So Bucko, well, before we get to our game, Bucko, why don't you tell people where you're at today? What do you do for a living? Do you have kids? Are you married? Just give us the whole gambit.
Okay. Well, obviously everybody heard me say I live out in the boonies earlier. I'm in Holdingford, Minnesota, which is about a half hour from Sauk Rapids, where we're from. And I live here with my husband. I got married last year in August, and we live in a house. So it's a shed house. It looks like a shed from the outside, but it's obviously not that in the inside. And I work for Edward Jones as a branch office administrator.
And I've been I love Edward Jones.
Yes, we love a financial advisor moment.
We love them.
Yes, I'm gonna take a sip for that.
Shouts out.
No, my mom used to work for Edward Jones for like fucking 20 years, something. So I love the green.
Was she a branch office administrator? Love the green.
I have it currently in my office. I was going for that Edward Jones vibe.
Yeah, it's that certain kind of green. That's so funny. I love that. Yes, we love a financial advisor investment moment. And I've been there for, oh gosh, I would say 8, almost 9 months. And I really like it. It's challenging. I did not think that's what I would end up doing, but it was a new adventure. Obviously, coming out of COVID, I did sales at Leighton Broadcasting. Aaron knows about that. I worked at the radio station and kind of had this moment during lockdown that I was like, this is not making me happy. This is not what I want to do. So I just was like, boom, I'm done. And I was like, I'm out. I'm done with sales. I'm just going to take some time to figure out what the hell I want to do. And that's when I applied for Edward Jones. And let me tell you, that was a lengthy process. My God.
Oh, I bet.
Did you have a lot of interviews?
Yeah, I think I had about like 5 or 6.
Damn.
And I was like, my God, I was like, do you guys like need me to tell you how many times I shit today? I feel like the FBI is gonna come raid my house. It was so intense. I was kind of scared because they asked for the past 10 months of employment. I'm like, you guys really want me to tell you when I worked at Air Max Trampoline Park when I was a senior in high school? Is that a defining moment in my life? Sure, we'll put it down.
So
that's kind of where I'm at. And I have my 2 dogs, which are just chilling over there on the couches. And yeah.
And
that's where I'm at.
I see that you have a collection of growlers behind you.
I do.
Big brewery person.
Yes. It's funny. I'm wearing my bad hat.
I saw that. It's cute. I like it.
Thank you. It's literally because my hair is atrocious. And then I am wearing a Hayes Public House.
Oh.
And that is in good old Buffalo, Minnesota. And it's a traditional Irish pub style of beer. It's pretty cool. So yes, I think we have about 17, 18.
What's your favorite style of beer?
I love Scottish ales.
Ooh, girl.
I love them. I mean, I think I like dark beer in general, but yeah. I mean, I do love ales, but specifically Scottish ales are my shit.
And that's pretty niche. Like, I feel like you probably have a hard time finding those on tap at a lot of places.
Yeah, it's brutal because all of a sudden they're like, I'm going to do this banana cream smoothie sour. I'm like, fuck me. I'm like, I just want a traditional style, like Scottish ale. Give me a little bit of dark beer. And every single time I sit there, if any of them have it, I always have something that's like, oh, how do you do it? I'm like, can I please just enjoy my life? I'm like, just let me sit here. And it's usually like older ladies who have no idea what the hell's going on.
For
That's
sure.
how it usually is.
The ones who walk in and are like, what's the lightest beer you have?
When I'm sitting at home, I like to drink Michelob Ultra. So anything that's close to that. And when I say it exactly like that, because that's my mom.
Speaking of Irish, what's your background? Are you Irish? Are you Polish?
You're such a bitch, Aaron, bringing that up. So I did do a 23andMe just because I don't know a whole lot about my dad's side, and I mean a little bit about my mom's side, but so my mom always said that we were Irish, a little bit of Polish, yes, Aaron, German and Native American. And then she told me that my dad was Hungarian. And then I got 23andMe, and it came out that I was 50% Irish. So it's my predominant one. So my dad must have it in. And then found out that there was no Native American at all.
Interesting.
In me, but there is Italian. That would actually probably
That
make
makes
sense.
sense.
My abrasiveness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That checks out.
Like
I would have
100.
guessed Italian.
Yeah. I mean, I think just a ticking time bomb of rage would be Irish, Polish, German, Italian, and then I think there's also Hungarian. So I think I'm just ready to start a fire in the woods at all times.
Was that on your dating profile when you met your husband? Just ball of rage, exactly ready to explode.
It was just like, yep, it was literally everything that I was for my heritage. And then it said ball of rage. And then with a whole bunch of fire emojis.
Proceed with caution.
No, when he was sitting there with me and he found out about the 50% Irish, he just looked at me and he's like, shit, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. I'm like, really, that does. He's 100% German. So we have a fun household.
I bet.
So yeah, you guys met online, correct?
We did. We met on a dating app. We met on Plenty of Fish, which I think is one of the most sketchiest ones that are out there.
Literally didn't even know that like still existed. I thought that got canceled years ago.
You want to know what? I think it was like literally just like hanging by a thread, and then Dustin and I found each other off of it. And I mean, even when we first started talking and everything, I really didn't like him that much at first. He never wanted to like meet up for drinks. He didn't want to go get dinner. I kind of felt like he was just kind of ghosting me all the time. And then finally when we ended up meeting up, and I always like to say that I know how cringy it sounds, but right when him and I met, it was just like, I knew right then and there. It was like, yep, he is not like anybody else that I have ever met. And I really like him, and I knew I was going to marry him. And so I bagged him up.
Oh, so cute.
I know. And also, he had this like whole entire like completed house too.
Oh,
so
right.
That was
that's a
yeah. So, and I think he like,
big selling point
in October. I love telling people that. I'm like, yeah, he had just got done building the house in October. We met in November. So he literally had 1 month in the house truly by himself. And then we started dating. And that's really the ultimate reason why I married him. It was for the house and the nice job.
Yeah, right. You need security.
That's the only reason. Absolutely 100%.
You need a roof over your head.
Guy? Is he a nice guy? Yeah, but he's got a nice house. You know what I'm saying?
So Brooke's getting married next year.
I know, Brooke. Congrats.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice?
Don't get married during a pandemic. I'm just kidding. Hopefully that doesn't happen. No. I mean, you probably hear it all the time from everybody, but I'm literally gonna sound like a broken record. Literally, do whatever the hell you want to do, and do not listen to anybody else who's trying to change anything in a way that you don't want it to happen. It happens a lot, even when you don't think it's going to, or people that you don't think are going to do it. I just say stand your ground with it, because there is going to be moments where you're like, I want to rip my hair out if one more person should just one more effing thing to me. And that's when you just have to be like, no, you just tell people, nope, this is what we're doing. Nope, this is what we're doing.
Love that.
That's my biggest advice. Yeah. Do your thing.
Yeah. There have been suggestions, and everything so far.
Oh,
and it's very early in the process right now, but it's like,
no,
people
thank you.
forget that, as a girl, you've been planning your wedding since you were little. So it's like, just leave us the fuck alone. Like, we have an idea in our head what we want to go with. Suggestions are fine and advice is fine too, but I've just been like nodding my head and just been like, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love it when it gets to a point where you have to look at them and you're like, just literally shut the fuck up and just let me do like what I'm trying to do. And sometimes it takes that for that to happen. I mean, I had it where, my in-laws, they were trying to make suggestions after we canceled our wedding because of COVID and trying to reschedule it. And we were going to do this nice big Halloween wedding, actually, where we were actually going to be in costumes. I was going to have come in costumes. We were going to do like right up our alley. And we got shot down with that idea really quick by a couple of family members. I won't name names in case they listen to this, but they know who the hell they are.
But bitch, if you're listening, you know who the fuck you are.
You know what you did. You know what you said. And it literally got to the point where I was just like, I'm done. I looked at him and I said, I'm done. It's going to happen however the hell it's going to happen. I was like, I'm beside myself. I said, this is the third time that we're trying to do this. People are trying to me to give their 2 cents when I don't give a shit. I'm like, I'm done. And we just ended up eloping. And that's how that was. So
that's awesome.
It's going to happen. So just keep doing your thing.
Cool. What date did you get married in August?
August 29th.
Ooh, mine's the 27th.
Ooh,
look at that. Maybe go on honeymoons together. Dustin and I love a Cubs trip.
I would love that.
Trip.
That'd be so much fun.
We do. And you want to know what? Him and I balance each other out perfectly. I get a little rowdy and he does not.
Oh, perfect. Me too. We can get rowdy together and then our husbands can just leave us alone. But make sure that we get back to the hotel.
So what I'm hearing is maybe Brooke and Bucko just want to go on a trip together.
But we need
without the men.
No, like we need them to be able to, like, Dustin is definitely like my little, like, here I am in the crane in the machine, like picking up all of the fun shit. And then he's like, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, you're right. I'm like, it's time for me to reel it back. So we definitely, we even each other out, yang it really well.
Love that.
So one more thing before we play our game. I want Bucko to tell the story of her infamous food fight from middle school.
God damn it, Aaron, I knew you were gonna bring it up. I told Dustin that I knew you were gonna bring it up. So
that means I guess he has to drink, right?
Dustin? Did you say he has to drink? He's in the plow truck. Should I just make him do an imaginary shot in the plow truck?
Yeah.
He's keeping our Minnesota road safe. No, so in 8th grade, I would say that was my most rebellious year. There was a suggestion of a food fight that should happen, and we had our principal that was in the cafeteria lunch area, Mr. Huberty, and Mr. Huberty, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I actually did apologize to him when we graduated high school, but they were like, we need to get him out of the lunchroom. Something needs to happen so we can have this happen. And so I was like, okay, I'll go distract him. I'll get him into his office. I'll make up some bogus story. And so I went up to him with Nicole Brenny. Every story of mine involves Nicole. And I told him, I was like, hey, we have something that we need to report to you, something that happened between Nicole and somebody else. If we could talk in your office, it's kind of serious. She's going to start crying. So we get into his office. I tell him this bogus story of this girl being mean to Nicole and was bullying her. And then as we're sitting there, all of a sudden the walkie-talkie comes on in his office and you just hear, yeah, we have a food fight happening in the cafeteria. And I'm sitting there and he looks at me and he's like, I knew something was going on. And I'm just like sitting there and he walks out of the office and I follow him because he's like, come with me. And everybody's coming up to me being like, oh my God. And I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want him to think that I had anything to truly do with it.
You're blowing my cover.
And so you're literally blowing my cover. And so the rest of the day is like fine. I mean, there was food freaking everywhere. Girls were pissed off that there was ketchup on white pants. People had mashed potatoes in their hair and all of that. And later on that day, I thought I was good. I was like, fuck yeah, I am smooth sailing. I'm like, nothing is gonna stop me. And I'm like, all of a sudden I get called into his office, and he's like, I know you did it. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. And he's like, yes, 2 girls came forward and they told me that they knew that you were planning on doing it, and I know that you did it. And I denied it the entire time. And I looked at him and I was like, I don't give a shit what you say. I didn't do it. And that's just how it's going to be. And he's like, well, I'm going to call your mother. And word for word, I said, go ahead and call her. I didn't do shit, and I'm not going to say I did anything. Sure as shit, my mom comes down and she whispers into my ear, and my mom being my mom, she's like, you better knock that fucking shit off right now. I know you did it, and you better stop. And I was terrified because my mom is scary. And I told her, I was like, I didn't do anything. And but we all know that I did. I ended up getting suspended the last 2 days of 8th grade, and I had to come in for 2 weeks of in-school summer suspension to help the janitors clean up the school.
Oh my God, Bucko.
You need to write a coming of age,
honestly,
story. Like, it's just so funny. Like, that's stuff that you would hear in a teen movie or something.
My coming of age story would be so scary, and it would be so funny and so stupid.
We'll have to have you back on the pod, Bucko, and it'll just be like story time with Bucko episode. We'll give you more time to prepare.
Oh God. Yeah, I'll have like half of my memoir written, and the first chapter is my coming of age story.
An excerpt.
There you go.
All right. Well, are you ready to get in the hot seat, Bucko?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
I gotta get the timer ready.
Yeah, I'm sipping on some Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey. So.
Oh, girl.
So it's a sipper, and that's why I like it.
All the way from Lynchburg, Tennessee.
So she has 15 seconds to answer each question.
Yeah, so you either you have to come up with an answer within 15 seconds, or have your answer completed within 15 seconds, kind of rapid fire. So
okay.
AKA when the timer goes off, you have to take a drink. So
okay. I'm scared.
But I mean, we'll let you finish a thought, but if you don't get it wrapped up within 15 seconds, you got to take a drink. Okay. Ready, Brooke? Or wait.
Yep. And I'll say ding every 15 seconds.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you should actually say bing bong.
Okay.
Oh God, Aaron, please don't. I don't think I could do it.
All right. Question number 1. So Brooke, start the timer right when I'm done with the question.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Bucko.
This is terrifying.
What is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh God, when I worked as a medical billing specialist, I won't name the company name, but it was the worst, absolute worst. Nothing but see you next Tuesdays there.
Ding.
I still drink.
Sweet. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, it's the 3 Too Many pod. Live your life, girl. It's Tuesday. Okay. Question 2. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh. It would either be Ireland, even though I've never been there. Or if it was a state, I would say Colorado.
Ooh, nice job, Bucko. You're killing this.
All right. Question 3. What is one of your first memories you have of childhood?
We had a house fire that happened when we lived in Chicago, and I think I was maybe about barely a year old, and I remember a flash of the cop car that was outside of the window that had a yellow blanket on the hood.
Ding.
That a cop was standing on top of it, and I got brought down.
Oh my God. That is dramatic.
Wow. Yeah.
It is the earliest memory that I have. Yeah.
That's wild.
All right. Question 4. Sorry for bringing that up. Question 4. What was your funniest Halloween costume?
I had a huge hot dog costume, and I mean, it was absolutely it was probably about 8.5 feet tall, and that was probably my funniest Halloween costume.
Nice.
Very fitting question to ask too.
I was gonna say, I think I have pictures of you wearing that costume at Annie Meyer's house or some random night when we probably decided to dress up. That
costume has circulated with a lot of people. A lot of people.
Okay, question 5. What scary movie did you watch as a child that still haunts you today?
Oh God. I would say as a child, I would say It, the classic Tim Curry version. Nice. Even though it doesn't like super scare me, it still creeps me out.
Yeah, that shit's freaky.
I feel like I vividly remember you having a fear of clowns in middle school.
Yeah, I really didn't. I still don't like them. They like kind of just, I don't know. They give me very pedo vibes, and I just don't like to be near them at all. But that was a hard question for me because I love scary movies. So.
All right, question 6. What is something that makes you extremely uncomfortable?
Oh God. Ooh, I mean, it's kind of a pet peeve, but it does make me uncomfortable. It's when people don't push chairs back in after they get done sitting down from a table. And if I see it and I can't fix it myself, I get very uncomfortable.
That's a good one. It's a good pet peeve that I wouldn't really think about, but is annoying.
It's either that or me sleeping on a diagonal in my bed because my 85-pound dog is in the way. That makes me uncomfortable.
Literally uncomfortable. Yeah.
Literally uncomfortable.
All right. Question 7. Alive or dead, who is one famous person you would love to meet?
Oh God, that's a hard one. Oh shit, motherfucker.
Just one.
I would say Elvis.
Elvis is a good one.
Okay.
I am so freaking curious. Just so curious. There's so many questions.
You have so many questions for Elvis.
if he is still dead.
Right.
That's one of my favorite conspiracy theories.
All right. Question 8. As many as you can name off, what are some of your special talents? As many as you can name, go.
Oh God. Somewhat making people laugh. I can do this like crazy hand. I can make the hand movement with my hand that makes it look like it's water. Did you say a painting?
So
I am. You want to know what I just realized from that question, you guys? I suck as a human being.
I make people laugh and I can do this thing with my hand.
If one of my greatest accomplishments is this thing I could do with my hand, then literally have the truck just run me over now. I think it literally only goes down from here in my life.
God.
You guys will have to watch on YouTube to see the little hand wave thing that she does. It's very good. It's very impressive.
You should just have a series of YouTube videos where you like set music to your hand dancing.
What I'm hearing from what you say that is that I should have an OnlyFans of me out of the picture and just
she goes out on OnlyFans.
Literally. So why did you quit your job at Edward Jones? And I'd be like, it's a long story.
Turns out I had a different calling. So
yeah.
That's why
fans pays my mortgage.
That to like my heart will go on would just be
absolutely
hilarious.
I could just do it all day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Double effect. Oh, okay.
Okay, question 9. What is the most bizarre thing you've ever witnessed someone else do?
Nicole Brenny eat a dog treat. That was one of the most bizarre things that I've ever seen. Mistaked it for a beef jerky stick and she ate it.
It wasn't even intentional.
Dang.
She ate it on accident.
You know, I may or may not have told her that it was a beef jerky stick, but it was still one of the most bizarre things that I've ever witnessed in my life.
Like, did she think it was good?
So, she like when she bit into it, she was like, "Is it old? Is it expired a little bit or something?" Like, it's really a dog treat, and she just spit everything out. And that was probably one of the most bizarre things I think I've ever watched, because at one point she was like, I'm like, "Oh, you almost liked it for a second."
Oh, that's great. Okay.
The OG kombucha girl.
Yeah.
All right. Last one, Bucko. Name 3 topics you could talk about for hours on end.
Ooh. I could talk about wiener dogs, Halloween, and Scientology.
Oh, nice job. Did you watch that documentary on Netflix?
Yes, I have watched the documentary. I have read like 2 to 3 books. I listened to the podcast that Leah Remini. I follow it very intensely, and yeah, I get very heated when I talk about
that
it.
Shit's so crazy. The fact that they stalk people who leave the practice of Scientology their whole fucking lives. It's like,
yes.
What else do you have to do? How are you hiring these people?
Yeah, they have they're technically a church, so they have taxpayer exemption, and so they just like buy a whole bunch of fucking buildings, don't fill them up, and then they just constantly get income from their parishioners, that they call them, and so they just literally hire more private investigators to pretty much torture people.
So insane.
It's insane. Actually, you want to know what? We shouldn't even talk about this right now. They're literally going to flag us. They're going to start stalking us outside of our homes. Then you guys are all going to be like, we should have never had Buck on the pod.
Hey, I'd take it. Any bad publicity is good publicity, right?
Aaron.
Oh, God. Oh, God, Aaron.
Bring it on, Tom Cruise.
I can't stand him.
All right. Well, that was the game. Bucko, is there anything else you have to share with us? Anything else you want to say to the 3 Too Many podcast listeners before you head out for the night?
No, I thank you guys so much for having me on. I was so excited when Aaron had texted me, and this is like my first ever time being on a podcast. So it was a lot of fun, and I would love to come back on, and I hope everybody gets a kick out of my hand movements if they watch the YouTube videos. I promise, if people who are listening, I am a lot more fun of a person. I'm more interesting than what those 3 accomplishments of my life have me out to be. I swear.
We'll make sure to have Carrie make a TikTok of your hand movement.
Yeah, you guys can literally just like post on your pod Instagram of just my hand like this, like not even my face, and just like tag my hand.
Can you do a video of it, you timing it to our 3 Too Many song?
I can for a small fee of $5,000. I don't want you guys using me.
Using me for clout.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bucko. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much to our listeners for listening to us every week. And on Wednesdays, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can also listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. We will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.